Welcome back. I'm going to talk you through the Outdure range of joist and beam profiles. And the reason why I've got a range of profiles is because they're suitable for different kind of height applications or span applications. So the profiles are made out of for you tech heads out there, a 6063 T6 aluminium or aluminum, and it's then powder coated. It's great for coastal applications. It's got great corrosion resistance, and it also is powder coated black, so it looks really good. You don't actually have to clad it off. So we've got these four profiles here. I'm just going to start by talking about those, and I'm going to park our other profiles here for our ultra low height deck scenarios. But for these four profiles, you can see they've got a very similar attribute in terms of the design. You can see they're consistent in their shape. And the reason being is because they're interchangeable. It's completely modular. It's a mix and match scenario. So we've got our A120, A130, A140, and A150 profiles. So this is a 2x2, 2x4, 2x6, and a 2x8. And for the metric measurements, it's a 45 mils by 45, 45 by 90, 45 by 135, and 45 by 180. Just take a look at what they look like from the side. So you can see here, this is where they all start to look very similar. So you can see the channel design all lines up here. You can see the central line, and just to give you some examples of how the componentry fits in, I've got brackets, and this is how the brackets slide into the channels, and it's all very compatible. You can see here how I can take this joist profile and add it onto this one, and it creates exactly the same size as this profile here. And once again, I can take that up to there. So they're very modular in their design, and it means that you can use a combination of different joists and beams on the one project. Now, the great thing is that you don't have to work out which joist or beam profile you require. The deck planner does all this configuration and value engineering for you. So let's talk about really low height deck structures. What do I mean by that? Essentially, areas where you've only got very limited space in which to build the structure to attach your decking boards, your tiles, or your turf. So typically these are areas that are very low height to the ground. So it might be over existing concrete areas or existing tiles or pavers, or it could be on balcony areas or rooftop where you're going over a waterproof membrane. So historically, they've been kind of named sleeper systems of how people have constructed them. So they're either using some kind of joist material, so it might be pressure treated lumber that's then cut into a thin wedge to accommodate the fall, or it could just be battens that are placed and laid on top of the substrate, so the concrete or the waterproof membrane. These are incredibly problematic ways to build structures. They're not dimensionally stable. They don't, the joists move. They move up and down. They move side to side, and they move front and back. So you've got just all these inherent issues with low height decks. And that is the exact reason why we've developed these profiles, so that you can create a super strong, stable, dimensionally stable structure that is going to create a very strong framework in which to attach your surface products. So let's take a look at these products. We've got our 2x1, and we've got our 2x1/2. So our 2x1 it's slightly different from the other profiles we have seen. We've got the other profile here, but this has got a different shape. So it uses different brackets, because the brackets used for this profile are too large for this very low height profile. But you'll notice that it's still got the same profile on the top, so the twist clip still works with this for attaching your boards, but this has a different range of componentry that's used for it. Now, the other profile that we have is the 2x1/2. So this, once again, also has the channel design for the twist clip, so that accommodates that. But you can see it's incredibly low profile. So we still don't recommend that these are used just as what we call a single layer structure. We still like to double it up and have a joist and a beam type scenario. That's the recommended installation scenario. So if we take a look at these, we've got I've got the 2x1/2 here and a 2x1/2 here. And essentially, the method of installing this is creating a grid out of it. So they're basically 16-inch on center, or 400 mils on center, and you put 2 screws in here so that this actually can't rack. It can't do that. It stays perfectly perpendicular. And so this gives you a 1/2 inch, and then what we recommend and have in our specification is the A901. So this is a packer that goes underneath, so it's moisture proof. And what this does, we have 2 of those under this connection, and it creates a 1/4 inch gap underneath the profiles to allow water and to drain underneath. So the total structure height for this is 1.5 inches, and then you've got your surface, whatever you're going to choose from that, whether it's your decking boards or your tiles on top of that height. So this is the lowest structure option available on the market, and it's an absolute game changer. So let's talk about the compatibility of the system with any kind of surface product. I'm talking any board brand, any tiles, any turf. So the profile is designed specifically so you've got options. On this profile here, you can see we've got the channel, and that takes the Outdure proprietary twist clip, which goes in, turns around, locks in, and so that's used for any kind of grooved board. You'll see in other videos which particular clip to use for which kind of decking board. So now if I rotate the profile around, you can see here now that this is a nice flat surface, and so you can use that for any kind of top fixing screw or a clip system that uses a top fixing screw. You can also see here that it's got the extrusion lines that we've got that shows exactly where to put your screws in, so you get your screws perfectly in line. But not only that, it also makes sure that you don't hit any of those ribs when you're screwing into here. So you've got some really great options. So let's take a look at the profiles that we've got here. We've got the 2x2, which is the 45 by 45 mil. And you can see I've got flat on one side and channel on the other side. And likewise, it's just consistent with all of our profiles that you've got here. This is our 2x8, and we've got the flat side on this side, and then obviously the channel on the bottom. So what this does actually allow you to do is that in some scenarios, you can either top fix your boards on the top of the deck, and then underneath you can have your soffit lining and use your twist clip for that soffit lining. So it's really quite versatile. So in summary, you don't need to worry about how to calculate how many screws or brackets or components you need. The deck planner will calculate it for you.